This time on Woody's Garage. Oh my, what a big shaft.
Well, today I started thinking about this Craftsman 5 horsepower snowblower tractor. The front end on it was all rotted out, and so I took it off and I put it like this. A good running engine up for sale on Craigslist, and I had a few bites, but nobody came and got it. Everyone wanted to give me $5 for it, and it's just like, no. The engine is, I think, like an HS50 because it's small. You know, the block doesn't stand very high. The only thing about it that is a little bit undesirable, well, there's several things. Because first off, it's a snowblower engine. Of course, I'm thinking its application for a mini bike, or, you know, another snowblower. But right now I'm thinking about the Rupp, because the Rupp has a 3.5 on it. And hey, why not go up to 5 if you can, right? Let's see. It also has the second shaft there for reverse gear. A lot of people say, like, yeah, you just cut that thing off, you know, or I could just leave it there. Who knows? It might be in the way, though. So you could just cut that off with a hacksaw. And it's the usual snowblower thing that's got all these extra housings and that kind of stuff on it. And, you know, these gorky long oil things. And I don't know. Like I said, nobody wants to buy it. So I might as well take the engine off of it. It's funny, at one point I was thinking of making this into a like a go-kart type thing. Getting rid of the handles. I saw a bed frame up the street that I'd just used for rails to make like a go-kart body frame. And I just put a bigger pulley on it and use the shifter and fart around like that, but it would probably be stupid. So I didn't do it. Another factor is the pull start. You know, Tecumseh just got cheaper and cheaper how they made things. There's no way of moving that, since, at least as far as I know, it looks like that's one piece, and the pull start's pointing the wrong way. So I'll either need another one, use the one off the 3.5, or I don't know. But to pull this engine off, I'm going to have to pull that bottom housing off. And because the bolts come up from the bottom, of course, instead of from the top. So, without further ado, well, it's definitely going to be filthy. Yeah, the back of this plate is just like, it's all decayed too. So, look at that. Like my Toyota. I also just noticed on the pull start there is a kind of locating screw there, so maybe this can be moved. That's good. So let's get this rusty crap off. Well, here's our first look inside, and I must say it's different than other machines I've looked at, or worked on, I should say. And really simplistic. You know, one drive wheel here. Moves on the shaft for the speed on the disc. Doesn't matter. What we're after is these bolts right here. I still think I am going to keep this, what's left of it, intact, because I can probably use it for parts. Not so much that bottom plate, that's pretty rusty. But, how about a little fire, Scarecrow? Loose and fine except for this one. I already heated it on top a little bit. Should probably do it. And we got it loose with a little help of a cheater bar. Okay, we got those 4 out. I think the only thing holding it is this belt on that secondary drive thing. That is part of the cam shaft, comes out of the camshaft, and it spins in the opposite direction of this one. I also still don't know what size the main shaft is. The PTO shaft, that's what they call it. But let's get it off of this thing. And but the only other thing holding it up is this key. So it should come off now. Okay, we threw the back on it. I think we got all the parts we need for now. We can throw it back out in the yard. Terrible working near the back door here. I got no room down in the basement. So let's get this thing out of here. So what got me kind of interested in this engine is I was reading an article that's up on the oldminibikes.com forum about taking a snowblower engine and putting it on a mini bike. And back in the 60s, I had mini bikes up until I bought a motorcycle, and then I never thought about mini bikes again until about 3 years ago. I'm now almost 63 years old, and I have 5 mini bikes now. So I've just been kind of slapping them together without really, really any thought about what engine's what. To me, a lawnmower engine is a lawnmower engine. I'll just throw it on there. But I guess the Tecumseh kind of took over in the 70s because of Briggs & Stratton didn't want any part of the mini bike market, I guess, at all. So all the mini bikes started having Tecumseh engines. Now, I guess the most sought after one was an HS50. And that's the smaller block Tecumseh, which is something I didn't even really realize. I mean, I sort of knew it, but I didn't know how to identify it. Now, this one I think is maybe an HSSK 50, which is the later model after the HS50. But it's smaller and it will fit in the Rupp frame. So I said, like, shit, I might as well take this engine, instead of selling it for cheap. Because it's a good running engine, And you should grab that article if you're interested in that at all. It's a good read, if nothing else. I definitely learned a few other things about engines and the history of Tecumseh and Briggs. But the next thing we got to do now is we got to pull this thing off and see. There's not going to be a tapered shaft in there, I know that. But see how big that shaft is. I'm hoping it's a 3/4 so that clutch fits. And they said the best way to get rid of this is to start the engine and just hold a hacksaw blade against the shaft and boink, it's gone. So that's probably the way we'll get rid of that. But let's get this thing off. Okay, we got this loose by putting the vice grips on the shaft here, letting them run into the side of the bench, and using the ratchet again with a cheater bar on it. And that's come loose, but getting this thing off is going to be another story. Well, it's one of those that's in pieces. Or broke. No, I think it's in pieces. 2 sides and then this shaft. Oh my God. That is not a sleeve. That is the shaft. Oh, brother. You can see kind of in the keyway there. Unless there's a rust buildup. No, I don't think so. Holy smokes. I mean, this has got to be 1 inch. That's got to be bigger than 1 inch. So, this is kind of a bust. Wow. Never seen anything like it. Kind of looks like it has a, maybe a bearing, too, on the crank. Wow. God. Now I wish I didn't do this. Oh well. Yeah, I was just thinking that was a sleeve like I've seen on so many other ones. But not this one. I'm going to measure this thing up. Yeah, it looks kind of like it's just over 1 inch. Or is that my measurement that's not right? That's pretty snug. Yeah, like 1 1/16 inches. Okay. Or is it just the rust or something? Is it possible to get a clutch on this thing? I've been having such good luck with clutches too. Huh. Okay. This is probably end of part 1 then. There's also another factor about how long it is. Now, it can certainly be cut down. I mean, it is like 3.5, and I think, if I remember right, optimal is like 2.25 or something like that. So it could definitely be cut down. If you cut it down to 2.25, you're beyond that little dip down stage there. So you're at that 1 inch. The only other thing is you'd have to make a keyway, or broach it, I think they call it. Dremel, I think Jeep 2003 said that he's used a Dremel to make a keyway. So, you know, if it's just a little over 1 inch, could you take a file to it? You know, let it idle and, you know, bring it down a little bit.